I spent the past 5 years implementing software for businesses, and the number one problem that I continue to notice is that teams just aren't simply updating it. Now, this is a huge problem because these systems are not cheap. So how can you make it easy for your team to update the system regularly so that it doesn't become a digital garbage bin? Now, I've boiled it down to 3 simple tips that I routinely implement with businesses that I work with to increase system adoption by over 70%. Having a system that you pay thousands of dollars for, that you know is critical for your operations, but just seeing no one actually using it, that kind of sucks. Now, I know from experience because during my time as a programs manager at a startup, I too struggled with getting the entire organization on board with the systems that I built. But after spending years at the agency, I picked up on a few things that will help us solve this problem. But what's interesting here is that the strategy that we might think is the golden key to solve all of these problems isn't what we expect. So let's dive into it. I first want to touch on the light bulb moment I had when researching how to fix this issue of underutilization. Now, a couple months ago, I wanted to learn a new language. So naturally, I downloaded the Duolingo app. Now, we can debate whether or not this app actually helps you to converse in a new language, but that's not the point of this video. Because what actually attracted me to this app was their approach to emotional design. Tiny micro rewards, clearly defined progress bars that fills up like you're leveling up in a video game. Every interaction is engineered to nudge you forward. Just one more lesson, just one more star, just one more action you need to take to achieve your goals. Now, not because their content is mind-blowing per se, but because the feedback loop is so tight. So here's a formula that they've nailed. Have a clearly defined goal via daily streaks, a constant visual feedback, green equals good, red equals oops, or try again. Immediate rewards, things like XP, cheers, character reactions and emojis, those things help. And last but not least, a sense of progress. Badges, levels, streaks, those things are subtle, intentional, but yet incredibly addictive. So the question remains, how can we use these elements in our portal? Jumping straight into tip number 1, conditional logic. Now, after you've completed the build of your pipeline, there's always a clear objective with each of them. One pipeline could be sales focus, the other one could be onboarding, or it could even be back-end stuff like fulfillment or production. Now, with each of these pipelines, there must be a final goal or an endpoint you're trying to achieve towards. From left to right, this Kanban board allows your users to drag individual opportunities or deals along this journey to reach the end, ideally close one. So ask yourself this question: what can we gather throughout the process to actually help us get there? And what information we can capture along the way that helps the users and the customers to collect the information beforehand so that when we reach the end point, there's no longer ambiguity on what it is that they're actually after. Let's just say you're a real estate broker, for example, and your close one essentially is a document signed off, an agreement signed off, and a deposit has to be paid. But throughout the sales process, you're trying to capture critical information that will help you populate that end document. So say, for example, the qualification process, their address, best contact information. Are there any other secondary applicants? Has a broker been appointed? Have they got their pre-finance approval done? All of these things are checkpoints throughout the process that we should capture in the system. And now using conditional logic, we're able to prompt the user, aka your sales team, your sales rep, the admin staff, whatever, to ensure that you're capturing the right information at the right stage before they get to the end point. And conditional logic is extremely visual because the field actually pops up as you attempt to move the deal or the opportunity to the next stage. So it reminds them to actually ask these questions before they're allowed to progress the deal to the next stage. And finally, at the end of it all, have a big wrap up where they have to go through every single step, just like a checklist, to make sure that everything is being captured before closing it off. Now, tip number 2, pipeline deal metrics. Now, this is a relatively new feature depending on when it is that you're watching this video, but the default pipeline deal metrics is kind of broad. I mean, it's there for a reason, which allows you to actually customize this view to suit the individual's needs. So my tip here is to create a unique view for each of these users, depending on the clear KPIs that you have predetermined already. Now, place these very clearly at the top. So as they start to work on these opportunities and deals, they're getting incentivized as well as giving a very clear visual on where they are in their journey and how much more do they have to work on to achieve those targets. Because most of the time, businesses would like to have a full dashboard, to have all of these KPIs in there. Now, completely nothing wrong with that. You should still have that broad overarching dashboard with their goals and all their KPIs in it. But in the deal view, what is it that is most important? Things like perhaps the average deal age, so how long does it actually take for them to close off a deal? The amount of commission perhaps that they're at right now and what is their target? The amount of business that they're actually bringing in for that particular month or quarter. those things can be prioritized at the top so that the sales team can get focused on what it is they're trying to achieve. And last but not least, tip number 3, which is deal tags. Now, I'm a very visual person, so I like to see things as they are right there in one view without actually having to go into every single object to find out more information. So we can do this via properties and actually populating them up in the deal view itself under the deal card and label them with colors to showcase progression. This kind of acts as a mandatory checklist for each card. Key information presented, have they been collected or not? This serves as a mandatory checklist. So looking back at our example from before, we can have on the deal card there, is the broker known, yes or no? And if it's yes, it turns green, and if no, it remains red. So this way, at a high level overview, without having to go into each and every single object, that user can actually see which deal is the closest to be closed based off of just 1 or 2 missing pieces of information, so they can work on that right off the bat and actually close them off, and then turn their attention to the other ones which has more red stuff missing. Now, in conclusion, with all of these things in place, you can already vastly increase your team's user adoption for your system. But surprisingly, all of this won't even matter if there is a disconnect between your functions. For example, does your sales team and your marketing team are even in alignment with how it is that they want to approach converting and communicating with a potential prospect? How many touch points would a sales rep have to do to officially deem a lead as dead? Now, these are the type of conflicts that sales and marketing teams frequently have rebuttals over. When was the last time that you and your team actually sat down and brain dumped the entire process from start to finish, from customer acquisition all the way on down onto fulfillment? Because if these processes aren't even agreed upon, how can the system best reflect that and help the team to track the progress that these opportunities are coming in to your business? So I hope all these small tips can help you improve your team's adoption for your system, because at the end of the day, you've paid thousands and thousands of dollars to have this implemented. Now, if you're having issues with your CRM or your system and you just simply feel like it's not being utilized by the team enough, it's not being set up correctly, or you're not really getting your bang for your buck, there is a link down below where you can book in a free 30-minute conversation with myself so I can help you to, address and try to brainstorm what could be the potential bottlenecks within your organization and within the structure of your system that it has been laid upon. And we can talk about developing a customer journey map for you as well. So as always, if you like this video, it will do me a huge service if you hit down below and hit the thumbs up button and hit subscribe. It'll really help me grow this channel here and provide more videos like this for you guys moving forward. That's it for today. Take care of yourself. All the best. Bye-bye.